and welcome to the long and the short of it. Of course, on our inaugural live feed, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty with our opening sequence, and I'm really sorry for that because it's super cute and I worked hard on it. But that's how it goes, using all this incredible technology during the 2020 apocalypse. I am one of your hosts tonight. My name is Jennifer Wren. I am the single malt specialist for the Dalmore and Jura single malts. And tonight we are starting the beginning of a 9-week experiment, something that I have always wanted to do with a single malt portfolio. And that is to take beautiful whiskeys and pair them with exceptional wines. Now, this has been something that's actually pretty hard to do out in the wild because there's laws around mixing and the amount of samples that you can do at a tasting. But here in my home studio, I am of drinking age. My co-host tonight and my special guest is of drinking age. We are in our homes and we are drinking responsibly. So you will see us going back and forth, but we always encourage you, and we ourselves are always drinking responsibly. So on that note, I am going to bring in, on the board down here that I'm running all the Zoom on, I am going to bring in my incredibly talented, funny, and the long and short of it, Beth Hickey. Hey, Beth, how are you doing out there?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm doing all right. I'm pretending I'm out in the vineyards. Yeah, good.
Oh.
Just surviving smoky Seattle.
Yes. Well, I think tonight this is going to be one of those crazy experiments where we had this idea, and you and I have been working on this. I mean, I think we've been talking about it for 4 months. Is that about right? 4 months?
I think actually when lockdown started in March, so maybe even longer than that, 6 months.
Crazy. Well, and Beth holds the honor of the last person that I was able to travel and do my job with just before we all went into lockdown. So the last thing I did was I was at Seattle Cocktail Conference producing several events with you and just having the best time. And we're so lucky that we kind of, came out of that unscathed and we're able to get, to be okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Beth, I'm so excited. I want to give a little teaser tonight. We're sort of in a way doing a vertical tasting because as every week progresses, I'm going to be going up the Dalmore portfolio. I'm going to be walking through a different whiskey. But you put an incredible amount of work into the selections that you have made, and I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Sure. So pairing wine with alcohol, hard alcohol, is challenging in the sense that you're working with two different alcohol levels. So inherently, the Scotch will be much more powerful than the wines per se. So my point of reference for the pairing would be the food pairing or the spirit of the spirit, if you will. Because for me, I see the Dalmore 12 as being representing the DNA of the Dalmore brand, the lines. And for me, the wine that I chose is representative of the DNA of J Wines. So I went outside of, the classic matchy match pairing to just kind of get a little bit more creative. And so I have paired wines from the Elevage portfolio. I'm the one of the two portfolio consultants for the Elevage team here in Seattle. I'm an Avant Somm. So this has been fun. This has been a creative project. So I'm really excited to see how you appreciate the pairings and how our mystery guests each week appreciate the pairings. So it's been fun.
I'm so very excited. And, and I think one of the things to me about this opportunity was on my myriad trips to Scotland over the years, it is always traditional when we sit down and have big dinners to drink wine and whiskey together. That there's nothing weird about that. And in fact, there's a gentleman that I used to work with, Ian Miller. He loves red wine. I would always sit there and drink red wine with him until we would move on to the whiskey course. And that also is the joke, Beth, because my instinct, as a whiskey person, is to pair reds. But you've gotten bold. You've paired outside that paradigm, and even tonight, we're going to talk about this is a rosé, it's a bubbly rosé, and I thought that was very bold of you, and it was actually a move that was kind of like superhero ninja move to really change people's expectations around what wine and whiskey can be like together and how they can dance together and inform the palate while enjoying food. Now, unfortunately, I'm not enjoying a meal right now, but maybe later. Yeah. But, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm so excited about our guest. I'm going to go
Yeah.
ahead and bring her on, and it's going to take
Okay.
just a second because we gotta unmute, we gotta do all the things because it's Zoom. But I am so excited to welcome realtor, fitness instructor, and as she likes to self-describe, ambassador for all of us taking ourselves a little less seriously. Amirra on everybody, looking gorgeous in her red lipstick.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Oh, heavens. You caught me unawares. Don't mind me.
How are you doing tonight, Amirra?
Well, I'm as fabulous as one can expect on a smoky Thursday evening in the middle of a global pandemic, losing a third of my income and also not being able to talk to my friends or family. No big deal. It's fine. We're great.
Yeah,
Fine.
are you guys finding that every time you talk to anybody these days, that basically the lowdown is that every conversation starts with "and how are you?" It's like going
Oh,
to
yeah.
every time. "And how are you?" I'm like,
Well,
"Oh,
I feel like it's not, it's like after you go through a major trauma, people aren't just saying, "Hey, how are you?" They're like, "How are you?
how are you?"
How are you doing?" And that's like the standard way of being right now. It's a real bummer. It's a real bummer.
It is, and I think all three of us right now. I'm in LA, and you both are in the Seattle area. I think that we're all dealing with the fires, and I had an experience today I haven't experienced before. I've been since the pandemic started. I've been like full on jogging 3 or 4 miles in a mask in 90-degree heat. I'm fine,
Wow.
no big deal. But then today, I decided to go jogging on my usual route, and within 10 minutes, I couldn't breathe. I mean, it really was something that was affecting me. And I think that sometimes we have this idea that if you can't see it, it's not as bad as they say it is. And today, for the first time, we're having bluer skies. So I was like, oh, totally fine to go jogging. And then it was not totally fine to go jogging. It was a terrible idea. But I think that the pressure of not being able to go outside it's a challenge right now. And doing stuff like this is fun, and we get to, even though we can't enjoy the outdoors for a second, we do get to collaborate and do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Amirra, oh, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, it feels like a virtual salon. So we get to sit back, wear fabulous clothes.
Yes. It's funny you said that, Beth. Speaking of salon,
Right?
for you,
Just
lady.
chat about things.
Yes, but I need an actual salon. So one of the jokes that Beth and I had about building out the media for this was neither one of us had the same hair we had from those photos that we were using. I had fake hair at the time. I had like long extensions, and Beth had this cute little short crop. So we look completely different. But Amirra, this is a very silly thing to say. I am actually for the first time embracing, not first time, but one time embracing my natural curls. And I noticed when I first saw all your images, you have these gorgeous natural curls. Yes. And I was like, lady, can you give any pro curly girl tips out to the universe? Anything that you do specifically for your curly girl hair?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you. I do indeed have fabulous hair. And I will say that the best thing that you can do for curly hair is stop trying to control it. As a powerful woman like you are, Jen, you should know. You should know that if something's got a mind of its own, you just got to let it go.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And and I think thank you for saying that, because my hair was really stressed because I just kept trying to tame it, right?
Trying to make it something that it's not.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden when I left it alone, it's like it's healthy, it's beautiful, it's doing
Yeah.
and I also, Beth and I were speaking about this idea that all these people, specifically female identified people, have been dyeing their hair crazy colors during this time because they can get away with it.
Right.
And I was just wondering, were either of you guys tempted to pick a hue that is not yours? Oh, we've lost your sound, Amirra. Hold on, my dear. We have lost your sound for a second. We will get her back up and running.
Look for other colors because this is just my best color. So I don't go for the wild colors. I used to. I was even platinum for a season. That was a trip, but not anymore. What about you, Beth? Any funky colors your way?
No, I'm embracing my natural salt and pepper. I had colored my hair for many years and in denial that I started going gray when I was 25. And I'm trying to embrace the natural highlights coming in. Some days are easier than others.
I love that. I'm doing the same thing. My grays are popping out.
Can I say something really quickly about Beth and her hair?
Yes, you can.
So I've known Beth through many, many different colors of hair. And I remember when she decided to go for her, she just decided to embrace her natural silver crown of glory. And a man came over to her house to drop something off for her kids or something like that. And he said, "Oh, I see you've embraced your warrior hair." And that to me was the most fabulous compliment a woman could ever get. So, Beth, I'm so grateful that you shared that story with me. I've actually shared that story with many, many, many people. And now I'm sharing it with the millions of people on the interwebs. So.
I love that story because there was a big criticism of the movie Mulan that came out recently, because there's a section in the film, I have not seen it myself, so I can only hearsay, but where she's fighting in the middle of this giant battle and she has her hair all down in her face. And everyone was like, no woman who's fighting in a battle where you're going to die if you can't see somebody with their damn hair in their face. And everyone was talking about how unrealistic that was. And it actually made me ask the question, Amirra, if I was going into battle, what's my warrior hair? Like what's going on? You know? And my thing was, the longer my hair is, the more I can pile it up and like get it out of my face. So that's
yeah.
But I love that warrior hair. And, you know, I think, and I got to agree with you, Beth, with that silver, it's tight. It's gorgeous.
It's hot. It's super hot.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I was thrilled when he said that to me, because I was like, yep, nailed it. Exactly.
Right. Well, you know, I want to get down a little bit to the nitty gritty, Amirra. So you are a realtor, and we talked a little bit before the show about how it's the Wild West out there. And what I did not reveal to you is that I am in the process of closing on a house in Los Angeles.
Congratulations.
But I will tell you, yes, everything you are saying is 100% true. It has been like hand-to-hand combat. I have the warrior hair. But you know, I'd love. What is your specialty? Do you work in commercial? Do you work in houses, rentals? What is the scope right now of the work you're doing in the real estate market?
Yeah. So I work very closely with a woman named Rosemary Pham. She, in my opinion, is the best real estate broker in the city of Seattle, and I am her right hand. And so I work under her, I work for her, I'm on her team. And we primarily help people with single family residential homes. We also do condos and townhomes and things like that, but our specialty is really just standalone single family residential homes.
Oh, that's really, that's I'm right in the thick of it right now. And you know,
yeah, I bet.
There has been, I'm going to move some of this stuff so I don't like knock it all over the place. There has been a real lack of inventory. This is a phrase that I've suddenly learned now that I'm in real estate. There's a lack of inventory. And, you know, a couple times we had as many people as like 36 or 40 people bidding on the same house and then just driving the price insane. And I'm just really curious how that market will ultimately be affected, you know, as we move into 2021. So man, I wish you all the best. But you also have this other side thing that you do. You are a fitness instructor and you teach bar. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I teach bar. Bar is what I like to call my soulmate workout. Bar is a fitness practice that I found when I was recovering from a back injury. And every time I come from the world of weightlifting and more just traditional working out, I was an athlete in high school. I mean, let's be real. A dancer in the ensemble in the musical theater, that's an athlete, right? I also played a few sports in high school, so I was always kind of moderately athletic growing up. But I found bar as a way to build strength when I was trying to build my core strength and make sure that I wasn't going to injure myself with getting physically active again. And then that's actually how I met Beth as well. We were students together. And then I decided to get certified to teach just as a way to enhance my own bar practice and then ended up teaching right off the bat and fell in love with the practice and the community. And it's a bit of a stage for me, which I really appreciate that, having that as an outlet.
I love that, and I also have lifted weights in the past.
Yeah.
And, I haven't been doing it in some time. Obviously, I don't have a weight rack in my house, but yeah, I had an injury in 2007 that required a lot of core strength. But it's so funny because as a musical theater person, or former musical theater person, whenever I think bar was that stupid class I had to take at NYU that I should have taken ballet when I was 6, but now I'm 18 and I can't do this.
Totally.
So, and I was really, really abhorrent at ballet. Ballet is not necessarily an art that is friendly to curvy girls.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
But,
yeah, you should hear people who don't know what bar fitness is when I tell them I'm a bar instructor, and they kind of look at me because I'm a thick woman.
that is a thick woman is a beautiful thing. Oh, I can't hear. Oh, I'm devastated we're losing her sound because she is so adorable.
Oh no.
It's okay. We'll get her back online in a second. So I think that I give a little context about what we're doing tonight. You might have noticed that we have this beautiful logo that's floating somewhere around my head, I think to this side. Nope, wrong, that side. And the joke of the show is we are the long and short of it. And if you haven't picked that up, a wine is a long drink, whiskey is a short drink, and Beth is a long drink, and I'm a short drink. So when Beth and I hang out together, she is a tall drink of water, and I am a short shot. So that's kind of how we got to this idea. So I think maybe it's about time, and I think we're going to get Amirra to log back on. She just dropped off for a second. I think it's just there we are, Amirra.
Sorry,
we lost you.
I know. Sorry.
Yeah. Look, we're rolling with it. It's the apocalypse. We're just gonna have a good time. No one's gonna get weird about anything.
It's 2020.
Right. And we've all got booze. So if I black out for a minute, I mean,
it's a truth. And I have one last question though, since we got you back on really fast before we go directly into tasting. This is a big debate that Beth and I've had. Amirra, you and I right now are wearing some very saucy red lipstick, and right. I wear it because I'm pale and it looks better on camera. But I noticed, and I was talking to Beth about this, lipstick's over, man. Lipstick's over because like the only time you're wearing the lipstick is on in a situation like this, or you're an Instagram model. But apparently also Instagram models, like lipstick's out now. So I was talking to Beth earlier about the lipstick index. Beth, do you wanna talk for a second about the lipstick index?
Yeah, so a couple of weeks, I've heard about this for years, and a couple of weeks ago, and the idea is that women will go and buy lipstick, they'll splurge on the lipstick, they'll buy fancy lipstick when the economy downturns. And you can tell kind of how the health of the economy is going by the lipstick index. And right now, that doesn't exist because of the masks. No one's buying lipstick. It's all about the eyes. So we're just talking about the only time, say my lipstick's already gone. The only time we get to wear lipstick now is when we're in the house and when we're doing virtual events.
So Amirra, hot take, is lipstick dead?
I'm so glad you asked. I have so much to say. I'm aware that this show is only an hour, so I'll try and keep it brief, but lipstick will never die.
Ooh.
Ever.
That is a hot take.
I'll tell you that if you're worried about your lipstick transferring onto your mask, you're wearing the wrong lipstick, my loves, because this is Chanel Double Intense Ever Red, Classic Red. Nada. Absolutely nothing on my hand. So, and I'll say, I don't wear lipstick. Go ahead, Beth. Tell me about Chanel. Tell me about Chanel.
Well, I am wearing Chanel.
But
That's not what I wanted to say.
Oh.
No, right before lockdown, you gifted me that Chanel lipstick. And
yes.
I will, it does not go off on the mask. So that's a hot tip.
Yeah. Well, I think that what that comes down to is the hot take that I have, the actual hot take that I have is, why do we do anything? Why do we work out? Why do we drink water? Why do we take our vitamins? Why do we drink booze? If we're only doing these things for other people, that's the wrong reason. I wear lipstick for me. And so I wear lipstick because it makes me feel feminine. It makes me feel powerful. It makes me feel like a boss. And it has nothing to do with who's going to see it.
Right.
So I want to say, I might be so wrong, so don't quote me on this. I believe that it's Steven Spielberg's wife. She wrote an autobiography about her journey with breast cancer. Again, it might be a different Steven.
It's wear lipstick to your mastectomy.
She says the title is I wore red lipstick to my mastectomy.
Yes.
That is like a mantra for life to me. It's like, you know what? If there's anything powerful that a woman can put on in the beginning of her day, no matter if she's just going to spend the day in her kitchen or at her home office or changing diapers, or if she's going out into the workforce, it's putting on a shade of lipstick that makes you feel like yourself. So,
man, I love that. And I have to also give a really quick call out. I don't always like to bring attention to the idea of a female whiskey ambassador. There's a lot of stuff there, but
sure.
I was just enjoying for a second the fact that on our inaugural episode of this Whiskey and Wine livecast, that the feminine energy is strong here, guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That
Listen,
moment,
you can walk into a space and you can be a thermometer and decide where the temperature is at, or you can be a thermostat and decide where you want it. So
yes.
Absolutely. You take that energy wherever you want.
And it's such a gift. And I have to tell you, people ask me a lot, prior to COVID, I was traveling a ton. And Beth, knows most of the events that I'm hosting, or especially with the Dalmore, are formal. I'm wearing business suits. I'm wearing gowns. I'm really done up, and
sounds fabulous.
Yeah, it was. And people would always be like, "Oh, I bet you're ready to get out of those heels." And I'm like, "No, actually, I'm super femme. Like, I really enjoy the art of decorating oneself. So it is something that I miss. And, I'm still doing that. I'm getting up every day. I'm doing the hair, the whole deal. Even if no one sees me, or even, if just my husband sees me. I say just my husband, like I don't want to look good for him. I'm not saying just my husband, but because it brings me joy. It makes me feel courageous.
Yeah.
And, this actually translates. Maybe this is a good segue into our tasting tonight.
Yeah.
I was with a colleague earlier today who works for a distributor called Wine Warehouse, and he was telling me about how he was holding onto this whiskey bottle and he didn't want to drink it. And I said what I always say. I was like, "You're going to die someday. Drink good whiskey."
Yeah, that's
What are you
great.
waiting for? Like, drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Whiskey is meant to be drunk. It's meant to be enjoyed, as is beautiful fine wine and champagne and sparkling. Like, these things are not meant to sit on shelves. Just like we, as powerful ladies, are not meant to sit on a shelf. We're meant to be seen, we're meant to be heard, and we're meant to wear that discount lipstick during the recession. So, and with that note, I'm going to launch into the very beginning of this tasting. Now, if you haven't kind of caught on to the thing of the show, I'm in whiskey, Beth is in wine, but Amirra is absolutely not in our industry whatsoever. There is no connection to spirits other than Amirra is a woman who enjoys a fine spirit or a fine wine now and then. So what we wanted to do is we really wanted to think outside the box. We wanted to say, in our wildest dreams, what could we bring to what is kind of a traditional pairing in some ways? What is the weirdest, wildest, out-of-the-box thing that Beth and I have never gotten to do? Well, for me, first was the wine pairing. And then secondly, it was bringing in these big, beautiful, bright souls like Amirra. So, I have no idea, Amirra, what you're going to present tonight. We're all very anticipatory of this, but let's launch into it. So, Beth, you kind of teed me off in saying that the first whiskey of our series is going to be the Dalmore 12-year-old. We're starting at the very beginning, a very good place to start. I think every lady on the cast right now has one in front of them. Now, the reason this is such a beautiful, beautiful place to start is we actually celebrated this week the 50th anniversary with my company, White & Mackay, of Master Blender Richard Patterson. So he has been making this whiskey for 50 years, and we are so grateful for the work that he has done. And as Beth said, this Dalmore 12 is our house style. Richard himself always refers to these whiskeys as very friendly whiskeys. They're very viscous whiskeys. They're whiskeys that kiss you. This is not a whiskey that's going to punch you in the face with a ton of peat, or it's not going to be a super high ABV that like strips the, the skin off your tongue. It's going to be a whiskey that truly wraps you in a velvet hug. And that house style is redolent of a chocolate orange. So for all of you out there that might be watching this from the UK, it's that traditional orange that you get and you go boom, 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 and it splits into pieces. For Americans, I'd say it's something like between a creamsicle and dark chocolate kind of mixed together. So it's those kind of things in your head. So I'm going to invite everybody to take a sip for a second, and we'll kind of launch into.
Oh, was this supposed to be my first sip? It's not my first.
That is totally fine. It's
okay,
totally
good.
Fine. It is my first. I was actually sipping on the bubbles a little bit, but so you're going to notice for the Dalmore 12, that chocolate orange is immediately apparent. It's going to have a very mid-palate, velvety tongue coating. I'm not allowed to say smooth because the members of the Black Bourbon Society will throw a book at my head. So we can never say whiskey is smooth. That's a running joke for you guys out there in Whiskeyland. But I want to tell you a little bit about the Dalmore at the very beginning. Our distillery was founded in 1839 by a man, of course, named Alexander Matheson. But what makes this whiskey so particularly special is in 1867, our distillery was purchased by the McKinsey brothers. So if you think of the McKinsey brothers, I want you to immediately think of people that were dealing in sherry. Now, why would I be talking about sherry if we're talking about this beautiful Dalmore 12? Because when the McKinseys purchased our distillery, they had all these exceptional connections to Jerez, the sherry making capital of the universe. And so they were transporting barrels back and forth from Jerez, Spain, all the way up to Scotland. And they had created this very, very special relationship with a sherry bodega called González Vías. I've actually visited there. I've been trained there on sherry. But what does that mean? Well, one of the earmarks and one of the things that differentiates the Dalmore and for Beth makes it really hard to pair wine with it is that all of our whiskeys, except for one that we're going to present, have some sort of sherry cask finishing. But it's not just sherry cask finishing. It's actually sherry casks that were pulled from the Solera level that have held Methuselah brand, so Methuselah is the brand, Oloroso, the style sherry, for over 30 years. So when you talk about the casks that we're using to make this 12-year-old, these are some of the rarest, most expensive casks in the world, and we have an exclusive contract to use them. So to break that DNA down for just a second, this beautiful whiskey spends the first 9 years of its life in ex-bourbon American oak. For those of you new to whiskey, that means it had bourbon in it. We flat packed it across the pond and we brought it up to the Dalmore, just 20 miles north of Inverness, and we put our whiskey in it for 9 years. Then we took that whiskey out and we brought a barrel filled with a bit of sherry up from Spain all the way to us, that 30-year-old Methuselah Oloroso barrel. And then we put this whiskey in there for an additional 3 years of maturation.
Wow.
Finishing. Yes. So that's a lot of information for this delicious whiskey. And I'm so excited, like I said, to start at the very beginning. So Beth, I'm going to kick it over to you because I know that some of the attributes here, the fact that the Oloroso is very present, the fact that the Oloroso is subtle, but those notes are popping through, the fact that you're dealing with citrus notes, the fact that you're dealing with vanilla notes, very common in all single malts. What did this lead you to, and what was the wine pairing you settled on?
So the wine pairing that I went with is the J. Brut Rosé. And to me, the J. Brut Rosé, to me, speaks to the authenticity, the DNA, the core feeling of the J wines. J Winery was started in 1986 by Judy Jordan. She is a lover of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir and wanted to start a winery in the Russian River Valley that celebrates these grapes. And she wanted to make traditional method sparkling wine, which is sparkling wine, thank you, made in the champagne method. So it has to spend a minimum of 15 months on lees to qualify that you're being made within that style. And this wine is traditional method, It's just beautiful. So pour yourself more if you've already consumed what you had in your glass. And please taste it. I'll talk through it. So this particular rosé, I know I have mine. My matrix green makes it. See, I'm a magician too. This is actually the some of the vineyards for J Winery as well. So we're getting an experience here. So this rosé is coming from the Russian River Valley. Once again, I chose it because I think it speaks to the DNA of the winery itself. 61% Pinot Noir. We're at 35% Chardonnay, and the rest is Pinot Meunier. So you're getting beautiful Sonoma County, Russian River Valley fruit. I think summer fruit, raspberries, strawberries. There's a floral component. It's rich. It's expressive with the fruit, but you have that bracing acidity coming from the Chardonnay that offers that kind of that racy finish, and the Pinot Meunier adds a nice little dark spice to it. There's blood orange. I mean, there's citrus in here. So you have that summer fruit, you have that citrus. It's rich and silky, but that Chardonnay kind of jazzes it up. So it finishes clean and refreshing. It's a beautiful combination. So when you're talking about the warm hug of the Delmar, this, if you could say that this has a warm hug, I mean, it's silky and it's smooth. There's something very seductive about the wine. It's quite lovely. So that's why I chose this. I think it's personally one of my favorite wines in the portfolio. But what's really unique about their production practice is that they're one of the few wineries in the United States that has the French, the Cocard press. So all of the grapes are harvested mostly at night, but they're hand harvested. They are a whole stem. There's no destemming going on. So the bunches are going into this press, and the Cocard presses press it very gently. So you don't get the astringent bitterness out of the pips, the seeds, or the skins. And then a little bit of the Pinot Noir is set aside and let to rest on the skins itself, which that's that skin contact that brings in that color. So it has that really beautiful, slightly darker salmon color. It's just, I don't know, I love it. It pairs beautifully with salmon, like up here, Amirra and I like Copper River salmon. When that run comes on, that would be beautiful. It pairs beautifully with pretty much everything. If there's a bottle of domestic sparkling wine to have in your fridge at the ready, I would pair this with filet mignon. Like I would with vegetarian dishes. It's 2020. Treat yourself. You know, put on that red lipstick. Pour yourself some Dalmar 12. Pour yourself some J Brut Rosé. Because I mean, enjoy life. Enjoy the fact that we're having a virtual connection here.
Yeah.
And there's people out there in the interwebs watching us.
We think. No, actually.
Well, we don't know.
I'm sure that my mom's on. Hi, Mom.
Hi, all moms. I'm noticing. I mean, I don't have a champagne glass on me, but I actually prefer to drink champagne out of a regular wine glass. But the aromas are just dancing. I mean, dancing with each other. It's like they're intermingled. I mean, this pairing is insane, Beth. Amirra, are you getting the opportunity to sort of do it together, to taste together, to smell together?
Yeah, I have. Beth was kind enough to. Well, both of you were so kind to provide me with these samples, and I've been watching you on your screen, smelling both of them at the same time, and I was like, "What is she doing? I need to do that." Yeah. And they smell delicious together. It actually, ironically, not to beat a dead horse, but it reminds me of layering Chanel fragrances, because a lot of the Les Exclusifs Chanel fragrances, you purchase two to layer them. And it really feels like layering that more masculine scent with a feminine scent to create something that's really universal. It's really beautiful together.
I mean, if every pairing is going to be like this, Beth, you've already blown me away. I mean, this is insane. I mean, and I think one of the things you brought up too was this concern that the whiskey, obviously higher ABV, obviously higher viscosity, was going to really overtake the experience of the wine, but that is not happening at all. They are really in conversation with each other. And I just, and it was funny. I was doing some work on the back end because this bottle was brought to me by one of our other colleagues, Liz Manchik, who's an incredible woman. And I said, oh, it's, sparkling rosé must be so easy to find. And she's like, no, it is not. So I mean, for me, the Dalmore 12 is widely available. I mean, it's on Drizzly, it's on Reserve Bar. You can probably pick it up at any of, your local stores. But this is actually a little bit hard to find. Can you guide people the best place to maybe try to acquire a bottle?
So I would say that you could go to, I believe it's on Drizzly as well. But you can go to our Elevage Instagram site, and through that you can inquire about your market, and we're happy to have one of the portfolio consultants reach out to you to assist you with retail stores if you wanted to support local, and possibly restaurants that are carrying it. So if you go to the Elevage Instagram handle,
cool.
And it's ELEVAGE, we can direct you to that. But
That's
the
awesome.
retail on this is roughly mid-30s, $30 a bottle.
Oh, seriously?
That's amazing. That's spectacular. That is spectacular for a bottle of bubbles like this. This is really, really lovely.
I mean, it's on point. It's gorgeous.
I mean, the level of attention and quality to this wine is just stunning. So it's, yeah.
Oh man. Well, okay. So we've had our wine. We're going to keep having our whiskey and our wine for a few more minutes. And I am so excited about this big reveal. Amirra, I'm going to spotlight your video so everyone can see you.
Thank you.
And I am so excited to hear what Amirra has paired with these two incredible liquids.
It's a crazy thing because even though these liquids do pair so well together, they do represent really different parts of my life. Like if you were to introduce them to me separately, I would choose the Dalmore for something very specific, and then I would choose the J for something completely out of left field. But bringing them together really makes me want to talk about a project that I brought into light in the onset of quarantine lockdown. So everybody remembers around mid-March of 2020, we suddenly were met with having to redesign our entire lives within our four walls of our homes. And for some people, candidly, I don't know who these people are because I don't know any of them. But for some people, it was a welcome break from having to be out and about. And that's a different human. That's not who I am. I'm a person that thrives on being around people. And as mentioned earlier, I do teach fitness classes, and I do love teaching fitness classes. And for me, when I was told that I had to stay home, I had to work from home, I wasn't supposed to go out, I could maybe go to the grocery store. But then every one of those decisions coming with a cost-benefit analysis of being like, do I really need to go back to the store because I forgot my charcuterie? I mean, yes, but I also don't want the looks from other people because I just forgot my prosciutto type of thing. So my students that were my regulars at the bar studio where I taught at were asking for online content. And I was very resistant to it because I felt like there's so much incredible, like really good online content for fitness online already.
No.
We've lost your audio. We are dealing with bandwidth issues. We're dealing with fires. Let's see.
To myself, well, I probably can't do anything seriously. But I could perhaps create an alter ego who might be interested in delivering some short comedic workout videos. And the reason that I'm pairing it with these two things is because I feel like you might look at these two things, the whiskey and the sparkling brut, and you might look at them and you say, these things don't look like they belong together, but somehow they pair effortlessly. And so I thought to myself, what could I provide for my community? What could I contribute in this season of really devastating loss? What can I give back to my community? And so I created Quarantina.
I love it.
Yeah. And she is, because she is still living and breathing. She she is a fitness instructor of the ages. She is a fitness instructor specifically birthed out of Quarantine 2020. Quarantina brings you single song workouts in a full face of makeup. And those are the two things that maybe look like they don't belong together. A face that looks like this, and also weights. And so, like these two unlikely pairings create a beautiful blend that produces something so spectacular, as does Quarantina, the face like this, with her two weights, guiding you through single song workouts, creates a really unlikely pairing that provides not only a quick break from your Zoom meetings that you have all day, but also something along the lines of comic relief and being able to sit back and laugh a little bit. And what I love about them is that they're like, the longest one I think is 6 minutes. So as they are all available on my Instagram TV, my IGTV, which is at Thank You for Understanding. And they're just literally one song focusing on a simple body part where I get to entertain you with this wild face, but also an actual legitimate workout for, 3 to 6 minutes, depending on the video that you select. And so that's how I'm pairing it today, choosing something that's kind of an unlikely pairing and showing you that actually you can wear lipstick to work out. You can do your hair to work out. If anybody's going to judge you, they're no friend of mine, so they shouldn't be a friend of yours either.
I think there's been seems to be a recurrence of folks who are working out with bottles. They're actually, picking up a wine bottle and
doing
curls,
Absolutely.
And, I couldn't get weights for a long time at my house. I finally have a couple, but I was attempting to do that. Maybe I was embracing the spirit of Quarantina.
Yes, you were.
Me.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Quarantina. So that's pairing number one, but you mentioned that you maybe have pairing number two as well.
I do have a second pairing. And it's a kind of a funny thing to talk about because I don't have anything to share with you about that, nothing tangible to go and seek. But I did, for anybody who's interested, I did get divorced about 2.5 years ago. And
congratulations. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's, again, an unlikely pairing of I'm sorry and congratulations. But I think, first of all, I would never, ever in 100 years speak ill of my ex-husband. He's an incredible human being. We just were ill-matched. But regardless of that, divorce does real funny things to the old brain, to the old noodle. It really does. And to me, I started writing a book that is also called Thank You for Understanding. And the book is about being able to laugh your way back to being a whole person post-divorce. Because there's some really funny stuff that happens to you in the wake of a separation, like a divorce. I mean, I can't even count how many times I've left an absolutely full cart of groceries in the middle of my Safeway because I've started crying because I'm looking at the brand of sour cream that my ex-husband used to eat and thinking to myself, you know what? I'll never, ever buy this brand of sour cream again because it's his brand of sour cream. And then remembering, I'm lactose intolerant. I would never buy sour cream. But the whiskey makes me feel like I could write a book with it, right? The whiskey makes me feel, because writing a book is a marathon, not a sprint, much like this whiskey. This whiskey is not something to shoot. It's not something to show off with, to drink quickly with your buddies like you're trying to prove something. This whiskey is to sip and enjoy and to marinate in all of the different aromatic flavors that it offers to you, much like writing a book. So,
I love that. And
yes.
Traditionally, Amirra, whiskey is the writer's drink of choice.
It is. It absolutely is. Yes.
For folks who have seen me, present on whiskeys before, I always have a kind of a phrase that I use, and I didn't invent it, but it's that when you're drinking whiskey, you never have small talk. You always have
Mm.
big talk. And I think it's interesting tonight as we're embracing these two beautiful, beautiful liquids that, we've actually touched on some pretty heavy stuff because, it's impossible to sit here with such a fine single malt in our hand and not address what's going on. And, I think, and the juxtaposition of that between, the heaviness and the celebration, the light,
Yes.
sparkling, right? And I think that was one of the biggest things coming into this inaugural episode is that, Beth and I had long conversations around we're not going to not talk about what's happening in the world. That's crazy. It's a lot of stuff's happening in the world, but we're also going to choose to celebrate at the same time. So this idea that you birthed this book, from pain came excitement and energy and the birthing of a new project. I mean, it really is everything that's wrapped up kind of in this pairing tonight, kind of thematic, and of course Chanel.
Naturally, because there's always Chanel. Am I right? I'm right.
You are right.
Yeah,
I'm right.
So yeah, divorce is a funny thing. It's I always joke. I make the joke. I'm sorry. Congratulations, because I've seen several people through it, and it's this weird thing of coming back to yourself and yet also mourning the death of something. And I think there's a lot of juxtaposition with this year. We are mourning the death of something. We are sort of living in this new paradigm. But I think that a lot of us are finding a reason to be like, congratulations, you're not stressed out as you used to be, or congratulations, you have more time with your family, or congratulations, you got to grow houseplants. So there have definitely been some good highlights to the year. And I have to tell you, this is one of mine. But Beth, I think one of the things many years ago when I worked in Champagne, anytime you're approaching a sparkling, everybody always just assumes it's only occasional. Like, this is something I drink every day. Like, how do you approach that out in the market when people are like, oh, it's sparkling, it's for a special occasion or a bachelorette party or whatever? What's your hot take on that one?
I think that sparkling fits. Personally, I think sparkling can be all the way through a meal. I mean, you can have sparkling with entrees. You can sparkling with dessert. I mean, Jay does a beautiful demi-sec. So you can have it as the dessert or pair it with a beautiful like apple tart or whatnot and just live it up. For me, when you hear the sound of that cork popping, your mood immediately changes for the better.
Yes,
Like,
yes, Ma. Yes.
Celebrating.
So true. So true.
And I really feel right now more than ever, do what you can in the world to help your community, but also, take a moment and celebrate. And if you want to pop a bottle of sparkling wine, be it Prosecco, be it whatnot, celebrate the fact that you made it through the day. I mean, 2020, you made it through the day.
Yes.
That's amazing. So without cork pops, it's the sound of hope,
Oh, I love that. 'Cause even tonight, Beth, when I was prepping, now we had the running gag. I'm like, I will never open a bottle of champagne on camera ever again. I have some trauma around that. We'll address that. But basically, it was the pre-prep. It was like, we're getting everything started, and I popped the bottle of champagne, and I wasn't even on my earphones, and I heard Beth go, "That sounds fun," and it does. It immediately gives this sense of moment. I don't quite know how to put it. I mean, and I feel like that's true about single malt as well. And honestly, again, we're here for weird extrapolations, but Amirra, one of the things that I've been doing this year, let's be a little honest. I basically ate my way through the first 3 months of quarantine, and then I've been losing weight the last 3 months, but fitness is an occasion for me. Fitness is a moment that I say, it's my time, it's my space. So you are offering, a moment of respite and a time in which people, as you said, can laugh. They can kind of free up that energy that's stuck in their bodies. So with all three things tonight, the Dalmore 12, this beautiful J Rosé sparkling, and then reading your book and having that moment for yourself to exercise. These are all things that we're kind of taking it back from the year.
Sure.
we're not going to let that year defeat us. We're going to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, well, I just want to say really quickly, like 2020 is happening. It's absolutely happening. It's going to continue to happen. And regardless of how you feel about politics, regardless of how you feel, we are entering into a season of great unrest, no matter what you believe, no matter how you feel. And so to be able to take a moment and say, actually, 2020 isn't happening to me. I am in 2020. I'm not a victim of 2020. I am involved in 2020. And sometimes that means literally treating yourself and taking care of your body, because 2020 is going to happen. It's going to happen whether we want it to or not. And so what can we do to stay powerful, stay strong, stay in ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So that no matter what 2020 tries to like throw at us, we can be like, okay, 2020, I see you. I see you. But you can't phase me. You can't phase me because I'm solid. I have my double here. My unlikely pairing, which the ultimate unlikely pairing could be 2020 and a sense of self, a sense of right, a sense of calm, a sense of purpose. So take that.
I just love this. I love, and look, I don't want to sugarcoat it. We all in our own way are dealing with the challenges of this year. I love this idea that we are rising to the occasion of this year.
Yes.
And that, as you say, we are part of 2020. We, just like tonight, the three of us are part of this tasting, part of this inaugural episode. We're having this organic experience that we all hope goes well, but we're just doing the best we can. Kind of a metaphor for life. And it's one of those things that I think that enjoying, especially at least for me, enjoying fine spirits, enjoying, the Dalmar, in the evening, once the literal smoke is cleared from the day. It's just such a moment of caretaking and such a moment of ritual. And I think that brings us, this has been kind of a perfect conversation, you guys. It is 6:58, like you're killing me. But the fitness is the ritual, the writing is the ritual, the lipstick is the ritual, the Beth wearing her incredible vintage Chanel is the ritual. And maybe if the only thing that we accomplish here, every Thursday, is that for 1 hour, people get to giggle with us a little bit, learn about these fine single malts, these incredible wines, and people like you, Amirra, who are just bringing it every day. Then maybe that's a little bit of a contribution to the overall happiness of the planet. And someone got to have an hour where they just got to feel good and just like kick back and relax. I mean, that's some pretty good work, right? And of course, I'm not mad. I'm drinking this incredible wine, which I don't usually drink. So, on that note, I guess it's time to wrap up the show. And the crazy thing about wrapping up the show is I've never wrapped up the show before because this is the first time we've ever done this. So I'm really hoping the tech doesn't fail. But all I'll say, if anyone else bear with us, we'll get it right next time. And I want to thank you so much, Amirra, for spending your time tonight with myself and with Beth Hickey. Beth Hickey, thank you for being an incredible partner on this project. You are so much. And so I'm gonna slowly but surely, I'm gonna bring us online for the end of the show, and I'm gonna slowly but surely take everybody off camera and say our goodnights. But I will say this, guys. This is one of those projects that has absolutely been a dream project. I hope you stick with us for the next 9 weeks. We're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff. And we are going to be exploring a lot of interesting topics. So I can't wait to show you the rest of this. But on that note, basically, this has been the long and short of it. I am your host, Jennifer Wren, and I will be looking forward to the next 8 episodes with you guys. So have a great night and good luck. Stay safe. And as I always say, enjoy your spirits and your wine responsibly. So cheers, guys.